On a Wednesday that started like any other, I was opening Beans and Pages. At exactly 10:47, the door jingled and he walked in. Tall, dark blonde hair, leather jacket, a paperback Salinger under his arm. It was raining. His glasses were fogged up. "What saves you from November gloom?" he asked, shaking off the drops. "A double flat white and an almond roll. That's the owner's recipe for autumn blues." I replied automatically, but suddenly realized my smile was genuine. "Let's give your recipe a chance. Gray." He nodded. "My name is Simon, by the way." He picked a table by the window, opened Salinger, and every few pages looked up at the coffee foam as if searching for answers there. "My name is Maddie-Lee Jenkins. I live in Renton near Seattle, and I make coffee as if the world's balance depends on it. My husband is Josh, a perfectionist programmer. Our evenings are predictable. He's with his laptop, I'm with a book, and our cat Kiki naps in the middle of the couch, like a dotted line between us." The next day, at the same time, it all repeated. Simon, flat white, Salinger. "Was the experiment a success?" I asked. "Dangerously successful. Now I'm a hostage to your barista magic," he replied, adding a little softer, "or maybe to your smile. I haven't decided yet." I laughed, feeling a warmth in my stomach, a long-forgotten sensation from an unexpected compliment. A week later, he brought me a slim book in a yellow cover. "The Roads We Choose." Small press in Portland. No one knows it, but they should. Consider it an advance for endless flat whites. "Bribing me with literature for coffee?" I teased. "For the barista, to be precise," he said, not blinking. By the end of my shift, Rachel, waitress and my only confidant, came up to me. "That guy at the counter is openly devouring you with his eyes. Did you notice?" "I'm married," I replied. "And he apparently is not," she laughed. On Friday, just as my lunch break started, Simon showed up with a box of pad thai. "Your lunch. Did I guess right?" "Did you become a psychic over a cup of coffee?" "More like a spy. Saw in your stories how you complained about boring salads." We sat at the staff table. Between us, the scent of lime, cilantro, and something elusive that made my head spin. "Does your husband mind you having lunch with strangers?" he asked, almost jokingly. "Josh thinks I live on air and caffeine." I tried to sound upbeat, but my voice betrayed me with a tremor. "Let me at least replace the air with noodles." Simon smiled. After my shift, he waited outside. The rain had stopped. The streets gleamed like a fresh negative. "Walk with me. I'll show you a secret graffiti behind the book market. They'll paint over it in a couple of days." "Only to the bus stop." We wandered through alleys. Simon told me about editing young sci-fi authors, about his dream to open a 24-hour poetry anti-cafe. I realized I hadn't listened to someone so attentively in a long time. "Are you happy?" he suddenly asked as we stopped by the painted wall. "Sometimes," I replied, trying to study the mural instead of my reflection in the puddles. "Sometimes is too rare for a lifetime," Simon whispered, almost touching my hair. "Let yourself have often." The bus arrived. I sat by the window. He stayed on the sidewalk, waving. My heart beat fast, as if a street DJ had cranked up the rhythm to the limit. At home, Josh caught me as I was putting Simon's book on the shelf. "New author?" he asked absently. "A colleague lent it." I lied without blinking. He nodded, went to his office. The cat jumped onto my lap, but even her purring couldn't drown out the question that flashed like a neon sign. Am I happy? The next 2 months became a game of silent ellipses. Simon kept coming, leaving me paper bookmarks with quotes. Josh stayed later at work. In the evenings, we talked about bills and cleaning supplies. Once a week, I met Rachel at the Swift bar. She listened to my fragmented confessions. "You're not actually going to sleep with him, are you?" she asked one night. I don't know. With him, it just feels easier to breathe. Careful, lungs can be fragile. On Saturday, the cafe closed early, City Book Festival. Simon invited me and Rachel to a secret reading in the basement of an old theater. I told Josh I was going to a latte art workshop. The basement was lit by Edison bulbs. Books everywhere, graffiti, people in sweaters. Simon introduced a new author, June Hale, a girl with a violet hair. She read an excerpt about a city where every house has a heart beacon. I felt my own walls pulsing. After the reading, Rachel disappeared into the crowd. Simon led me to a table with wine. "To brighter beacons," he toasted. "And to not going blind," I replied. The music faded. Guests moved to the next room. We were left alone among the books. Simon touched my hand. "I can't do it any other way, Maddie. I think about you every morning." He said it calmly, without drama, and that's why the words hit harder. "I have a husband." I heard my own voice tremble. "I'm not asking for anything right now." He stepped closer. "Just let yourself answer honestly. Do you love him?" I opened my mouth, but only silence came out. At that moment, June appeared in the room. "Oh God, sorry," she laughed. "Found a cool, rare book." She handed it to Simon, and I suddenly realized there was something more than work between them. In her look, a slight possessive spark. "We'll catch up later," June whispered and left. I felt a strange relief and at the same time a sting of jealousy, as if I'd been denied the right to feel. Outside, it was raining. We walked to the station, not touching hands. "Is June your girlfriend?" I asked. "A past that refuses to get old." He smirked. "And you? Past or present?" I didn't answer. On the platform, he handed me an envelope. "Read it when you're ready." At home, Josh was asleep on the couch. 2 glasses on the table, 1 empty. He must have been waiting. I locked myself in the bathroom and opened the envelope. Inside was a 5-page story. The heroine, a barista, runs from the rain with a man who gives her breath for 2. The final line was underlined. "A choice isn't a fork in the road, it's a mirror." I looked at my reflection. On my cheek, a mark from someone else's sleeve. In my eyes, a storm. In the morning, while Josh was still asleep, I made coffee. The smell was like an anchor. It holds you but doesn't let you sail. Are we just cats curling up on the pillows of habit, or do we learn to breathe deeper? My phone blinked with a message from Simon. "I'll be there at 10:47, as always. If you want to talk, put a bookmark in my cup." I looked at the stack of bookmarks I kept under the register, and for the first time in a long while I realized I'd have to answer myself, not him. The cup filled with dark, thick coffee, and the aroma suddenly seemed like a question you can't lie to, the ending. He stands at the threshold, holding a book. At that same moment, Josh steps out of a taxi, tired but with a bouquet of wild daisies, my favorite. 2 roads converge at the door of Beans and Pages, and I'm still a barista, holding only a hot cup and the mirror of choice. What happens next will be decided by how quickly the coffee cools.